All right, everyone. Welcome to the Angry Asian Uncle podcast. I am your host, Reynold, and my co-host.
Hey guys, it's me again, Vic.
All right, and we have another special guest today, James. James, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi. Thank you so much. I'm going to try and be as angry and Asian as I can. I don't know if I can pull it off, but I want to.
No,
I want to
you
be
don't
one of
have
the
to
one of.
be.
But I want to be one of the guys. I want to.
You
I want
are
to
one
be.
of the guys.
I
Don't
want to be
worry, you don't
cool
have
like
to be
you.
angry.
So yeah,
Thank
my
you.
name is James McNeil. I'm from Toronto, Canada. At the moment, I'm at my cousin's place in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, simply because it's warmer here and I love it. And
Nice.
yeah, so I've been an author, speaker, coach, consultant, trainer for over 30 years, close to
Mm,
35, I think. And what else? Unique background. So I have ADHD, dyslexia, OCD, complex PTSD, and a bunch of other things. Came from
wow.
the wrong side of the tracks. Couldn't speak in sentences till I was 9 years old. Couldn't
Okay.
read till I was 21. Have no
Okay.
college, no university, no, silver spoon. I was a statistic waiting to happen. But
Right.
by the grace of God, I've had a great life and circled the globe multiple times and yeah, did all kinds of
Excellent.
cool stuff. Yeah.
Excellent.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I want to learn all about all the cool stuff you do or did.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get started with Vic. You said you wanted to start with.
Yes. So I wanted to ask James about what is the
Mhm.
superhuman movement that you have inscribed right beside your background?
Yeah. Well, it's continuing to take its own form, but my idea here is that I really believe that we as a species have gone from evolution to devolution, and
Mhm.
we were really, moving up. Most of human history has been about survival, right? Most of human history is how do we get enough food? How do we protect ourselves from whatever, animals and other people? And we really haven't. You're familiar with Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like survival,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and we just haven't really crossed the threshold from deficiency needs into being needs, except for some people or all of us to some degree a little bit. But most people are in survival mode. Most people are still stuck in us against them or all that. And
Very
so that
tribal.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
it really breaks my heart. And I think it's urgent that we kickstart the evolutionary process. And superhuman is metaphysical. So metaphysical is beyond the physical. In fact, meta was actually it's not the best term for metaphysical. It's just they use that because I think it was Aristotle when he was talking about physics. They said he was meta is the study of the thing. So metadata is studying the data, and
Mm.
so metaphysics is studying the physics, or in the next level. And so they called it metaphysics, but it really is the study of the supernatural or being
Mm.
superhuman. And so when we're quote unquote superhuman, it doesn't mean we can leap tall buildings in a single bound necessarily, but who knows what a human can do. It is transcending the bestial,
Mm.
transcending the animal, transcending, like, little kids, right? You say, little Bobby, hey, Bobby, why did you hit Sally? And his answer is, she hit me. So it's
Mhm.
like, duh, of course I had to hit her. It's like, no, you could choose not to. And so we can be a little bit more enlightened than reactive and zero sum games. We can actually create beautiful music. We can create beautiful
Mhm.
ideas, philosophies. We can build connections and community. All of these things fall into the category of superhuman because if we were just animals, it wouldn't be so pretty. So
Right. All right.
for me, I really want to encourage awakening to the fact that we're just in survival mode and that's not necessary. And then how can we like lighten up and really show our stuff because we're better than this. The people are divided. They're distracted. They're deluded. They're depressed. They're drugged. They're demoralized. And I'm like,
Mhm.
sheesh.
Mhm.
It's like the best time in the world, best time in human history to be alive. We have all these cool tools. Here I am in Fort Lauderdale. We got California. We got Taiwan, and we can all hang out. Well, that's
Mhm.
pretty freaking cool,
Yeah,
but we
it
don't
is,
seem very
yeah.
happy.
Mhm.
That's right.
So yeah, so I really want to trigger next level humanity.
We're talking to the right people because, us Asians, it's part of our culture to talk about metaphysical stuff. For example, it's part of our culture to talk about karma and reincarnation and
Mm-hmm.
trying to better yourself through either you're into Confucian principles or Taoism, or into ancestor worship. A
Yeah.
lot of the traditional values that have been handed down from generation to generation espouses a lot of that, right? Just
Yeah.
how to refine yourself and be a better individual for the good of yourself and the community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, I'm all for it.
What faith traditions are you most familiar with? Are you familiar with like Buddhism, Hinduism? What is it? Taoism? Like what would you say that you're most familiar with, that you know more about or you align with?
Right. Well, over here in this part of the world, it's very common to ancestor worship. Also, there's obviously a lot of Buddhism, but as you know, there are many sects of Buddhism,
Yeah.
many different groups. We have a variety of everything. But if I had to really group things together, I would say the majority would be Taoists and Buddhists and ancestor worship. Those are the three predominant ones that we have over here.
That's very cool.
I wonder if Reynolds still practices any of that ever since he moved to the States.
No,
More
now it's just basketball.
Basketball, yeah.
He's still
That
very
phrases basketball
Taiwanese, by the
goals.
way, but it's just that he's a full-on ABC. He's an American-born Chinese. So sometimes I'm, living in that part of the world, he takes on different things too, but he still retains a lot of that traditional Asian Taiwanese things in his life. Yeah.
I like burgers and fries. What do you know?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I like burgers and fries too.
Yeah, I heard. Is it Tom Holland, Spider-Man? Is that the name of the actor? Tom Holland.
Oh yeah.
He was being interviewed, and it was something about the U.S. and he decided to teach them a lesson. He said, "What is American cuisine like really?" And someone said hamburgers. He said, Hamburg, Germany. Okay, let's try again. What is American? French fries. French. Let's try again. Pizza. Italian. Let's try again. And he was just like, "You have nothing."
Meatloaf. Meatloaf. Come on.
There you go.
American, right?
Go.
Yeah.
There you go.
PB&J.
That's right.
I don't know.
Well, I personally find so I was brought up in a Catholic home, but I didn't get the whole spiritual side of Catholicism. All I learned is sit, kneel, stand, and be quiet or dad's going to hit you. I just got the rules and the, blow the dust off of these old books and feel guilty for a while. I didn't get it. And then when I was 19, I had a spiritual awakening at a Baptist church. So evangelical Christianity became the thing. And that was a turning point, actually. I think it's very safe to say saved my life. And so I got deeper into, and that's what the first book I started reading was the Bible, just trying to learn how to read.
Right.
They had to get me a simpler Bible though. Just but thou art, the Shakespearean type of Bible.
Right.
I was like, I don't even understand normal English. You gotta anyway. So they gave me like a kid's Bible or whatever to help me get started. But that was my journey. And then when I started Verbal Aikido, and I'm wearing a Verbal Aikido jacket, Verbal Aikido. So I became a communications trainer for the world's most powerful banks. And I don't know what I called my work at first, but someone in a class said, your work is just like Verbal Aikido. And I'm like, what's Aikido? I had no idea. And so I went and did my homework. And the more I studied Aikido, the more I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. But it really helped me studying Aikido, the philosophy, right? Not the martial art. I went to one class. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I don't bend like that.
Right.
So then, but it helped me refine the philosophy, and then my work really clicked. And then I became the highest paid consultant of the world's most powerful banks with Verbal Aikido. It really took off. But Aikido was my introduction to Buddhism. That was
interesting.
Because it's very grounded in Buddhism. And I'm like, the more I study Buddhism, the more I understand Jesus. It was fascinating because the preachers are just regurgitating what their preachers told them, what the Bible college taught them. But so I don't believe modern day Christianity really represents Jesus very well. I really don't. I think it's like modern day Pharisees. It's like, ugh. But the more I study other faith traditions, like I dig the Tao, and the more I study other faith traditions, the more I'm like, that's what Jesus was saying, and the Christians didn't get it. So I love learning from people who have differing perspectives, different insights, and I'm what is it? Kerfuddled. I cannot comprehend how disinterested people are in learning from people who disagree with them or have a different perspective. It's like, what the heck happened with us? We're so scared that I might be wrong about something. It's like, geez, if you disagree with me, you're going to see me get excited because it's like, oh, good, someone who can help me see something I haven't seen, right? So it's like, I love disagreements because it's the path to breakthrough. Like, anyway, so I love it. I love learning from other faiths. I love, difficult conversations because if you come with respect, then when not only intellects meet, but when souls meet, both leave transformed. We both leave better, and that to me turns me on. And when people are like, if you're a liberal, don't talk to me. If you're a conservative, don't talk to me. If you're not following Jesus, then don't talk to me. I'm like, come on, everybody, like lighten the frick up. So I love open, honest, respectful dialogue, and disagreements are almost always more rewarding than just hanging out with people who already think the same way.
I think I'm starting to see what the superhuman movement is all about now. Yeah, you're right. I think if you don't engage with people who even disagree with you, I mean, you're just in an echo chamber, right? You're just like regurgitating ideas back and forth all the time without learning anything new.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and to your point a while ago, I mean, James, I was raised Catholic because, I grew up in the Philippines. Even though I'm Taiwanese. Yeah. So like, it's predominantly Catholic. I grew up in a Jesuit school of all places, right? That's ultra Catholic.
Good to see you.
Thank you. But but I appreciate how you try to open up your mind to find truth or seek truth wherever it may be found. Like I always, one of my personal philosophies is that I think no one group or religion has a monopoly in truth. I do think that, yeah, but sometimes people miss that. And you're right? People sometimes get so tribal or are so sure that their belief is the only one that's true or that's the only one that's correct. And I think that's a shame because there's so many things we can learn from each other. Right? You just have to open up your mind a little bit. Doesn't mean at the end of the conversation you have to totally agree with them 100%. Yeah. But you do train your mind and your spirit to sort of consider viewpoints from a different angle after engaging with people who might see things a little bit differently from you, right? And I think that being this part of the world, one of the benefits is that it comes a little bit more naturally to us to accept these Eastern metaphysical teachings because we grew up with it. Yeah. And not saying that there are no bad groups. I mean, we had this discussion in one of our earlier episodes in our podcast that, there are a lot of fake gurus in this part of the world as well who would take advantage of that and maybe just try to scam you out of your money or, whatnot. But in general, though, it seems a little easier for our culture to open up to all these different Eastern metaphysical thoughts. And with the influx of Christianity over the past centuries here in this part of the world. So it's like you get a good mishmash of different types of viewpoint on how you can approach what it is to be a human, what it is to live a good life, what it is to understand higher powers or the cosmos. So if that's what the superhuman movement is that what you're trying to share with other people? I'm all for it. Yeah.
Yay. You're hereby approved, Jesuit.
Thank you. It's a Jesuit training coming out. Thank you.
Jesuit Vic. You're in.
Yeah, but
I got one.
Reynold here, speaking of Aikido, he doesn't take Aikido, but he does jujitsu. And he, growing up as a Taiwanese American, he knows all about ancestor worship. But now that he's in his, are you in your 40s too, Ronald? You are, right?
Yeah, I'm in my 40s.
So yeah,
You
and
kids.
he has
Yeah.
embraced he's embraced Christianity. So he's like an interesting nexus in his life as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
a
like
good
to be
jujitsu
open.
fighter who's a Christian. Love
Yes,
it.
Exactly. Yeah. Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I like to be
who's-
open-minded too. Like you were saying, James, like everyone wants to be everyone to be on the same page. You know, you hear that a lot. Let's get on the same
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
And then if you're not on the same page, it's like, oh, no, we got to get on the same page. It's like, can't we just disagree to agree or something? Everyone hates if we end up like that. Can we just disagree because they want to be right or something? I don't know.
Well, I have a thought, Reynold, and you guys tell me what you think. So my perspective on this is so think of communications as a transaction. So person A has an idea. Person A opens their mouth and makes sounds, and they want person B to understand the idea, right? So that's a transaction.
Right.
But the transaction is not complete until person B is able to say back to person A, if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is X. Until A feels heard, understood, accepted, and respected, that one transaction has not completed. So it's an open loop. It's a closed. It is a unresolved transaction. And then person B says, "Oh, well, let me tell you about this." And then person A doesn't feel heard, understood, accepted, and then they just stack incomplete transactions on top of each other. And then finally, one of them says, "You're not listening to me." And the other one says, "You're not listening. You've never listened. Oh yeah, you're just like your mother. Drop dead."
Sounds like my marriage, actually.
Yes, sorry.
I was going to say that, right?
That's almost always what. But it starts with, if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is this. And it's not a trick, it's not a manipulation. So verbal Aikido, if you're accused of using verbal Aikido, that means you're accused of communicating honestly, openly, respectfully, and directly to issue to the other genuine respect, acceptance, interest, and a spirit of service. And if you're going to accuse me of something, please accuse me of that. And if I'm able to say back to you, if I understand correctly, you're saying this, and you're like, yes, it might be the first time you felt heard in years. And that in and of itself is therapeutic, and both of us are better off just because a person felt heard, understood, respected, and accepted.
Right.
Herein is a gift. Then the other person says, wow, all right, so may I share mine? Well, the person is able to listen now because their cup has been emptied. But until that transaction is complete, their cup remains full. And they're trying to pour their cup. Yes. They're both trying to pour their cup into the other, and neither one is receiving. So both leave with the filled cup and animosity. Whereas if you just say, if I hear you correctly, it's like, oh my gosh, that's like therapeutic, quasi-orgasmic. And then you say, can I share my thoughts? It's like, yeah, I owe you, right?
We really
you
lost the art of listening, haven't we?
Yes.
It's basically just good dialogue, right? Being able to converse with someone that way.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah. And in 2026, a lot of us seems to have lost that talent.
Yeah.
For some reason. Used to be like everyone had it.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the fears is if I listen to you and if I accept your perspective, it doesn't mean I'm agreeing. It means I'm accepting and respecting. So if you say, James, you should be whatever, you should be Buddhist, or you should be Christian, or you should be whatever, liberal, because it doesn't matter. You say, James, you should. And I say back, so it sounds to me like you're saying that it would be better for me if I thought that, felt that, believed that, and acted in those ways. You're saying it would make my life better. It would improve my relationships, improve my health, my economics, and my impact on the planet. That's what I believe you're saying. You're like, yes. You say, great, thanks. No. Like, I heard you, I respect you, and I haven't chosen what you want me to choose. Well, you can live with that. It's like, well, you heard me. I did my job. We can accept that. I don't have to agree because I listened. I listened.
Yeah.
And that's sufficient. That's what people need. They don't need compliance unless you're a manipulator. Then you need compliance, right? But if it's authentic, you don't need compliance. But psychologically, you need the validation of heard, understood, respected, accepted.
Yeah, I think all the best educators are aware of that. either consciously or subconsciously. But you know, thinking back to my own childhood growing up, the teachers that I love the most are those who somehow manage to make me feel like I've been heard. You know, of course, like as a child, you're not always right, but at the very least, you felt like, oh yeah, I was able to empty that cup. You know, I was able to tell somebody what I was thinking and how I was feeling. And that teacher, if they're a good one, they know that they have to let the other person speak their mind first before they're receptive to listening to anything that anyone else has to say, right?
Yeah.
So I think good educators have that. Yeah.
Yeah. In this past,
I feel like,
go ahead, Raymond. Sorry.
Oh, I feel like that doesn't work on Asian moms. Asian moms need to have that control and be right.
That's a separate animal altogether.
Right? That's an outlier. That's an outlier. Like, no, you heard me. You just repeated what you heard. So now you have to agree with me.
Yeah. Reynold, that's the unicorn. Okay, everybody wants that kind of Asian mom, right? I'm still searching for one of those. Like, no, they don't exist.
Well, my mother, and she's magnificent, and she's 88. Still lives in her own apartment. Still drives her car. Just got her license renewed. Very proud.
Wow.
Never drank. Never smoked. She's just one of those wonderful, beautiful, salt of the earth humans. And she's the one who kept us alive. My dad struggled with alcoholism and prescription drugs and violence, and he was abusive. I almost died by his hand on a number of occasions. Yeah. So,
wow. Okay.
And so my mom was the one who like saved us, right? Kept us alive. Bandaged us up. But my mother was never affectionate. So she wouldn't say, I love you. She just learned how to say that in the last 10 years or so. She never hugged. And today, even when she does hug, it's a teepee hug. You know what a teepee hug is? So this is a hug, but she does this.
Yeah. Sounds like an Asian mom.
You kind of touch just right there. And the way my mom shows her love is she says, you look ridiculous. You look ridiculous. Don't go out looking like that. Everyone's going to make fun of you. When I put on my beard, Jimmy, you look like you're 100 years old. No woman will love you. You can't shave your head. That looks horrible. Everyone's going to make fun. And what she's saying is, I love you, and I want your life to be easier, and I want people to be nice to you. But she doesn't know how to say it that way. She just says the most negative thing she could think of. And I say, thank you, Mom. I love you. And she's like, oh, you're not listening to me. I said, Ma, I hear you. I hear beyond the words, and I appreciate that you love me. And she's like, oh, you don't do what I say. Well, sometimes, every once in a while, Ma, come on. Every once in a while. Like at least 5 things over the last 60 years. At least 5 things I've done that you told me. And I just like make fun of it because it's like, the real thing is she's saying, I love you. And I'm able to speak the language. Like I don't speak Japanese. I don't speak Chinese. I don't speak, Taiwanese. I don't speak any other, all I speak is English, and even that not well. But I do speak Mom. I understand that when she says all this stuff, all she's saying is, I love you, and I want you to be happy, and I want you to be safe. But none of those exact words will ever come out of her mouth. So I've got to interpret it. And it's like, you love me.
Yeah. See, Reynold, James is more Asian. Yeah, that's very Asian. Right?
Am I? I told you I wanted to be Asian.
We found the link.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, your mom sounds like a typical Asian mom too. They're exactly like, they don't tell you I love you directly, but I root for you. And they'll hurl insults like yeah, exactly. Yeah, like he looks gay.
Talks to my mom. I'm gonna tell her she's Asian. We'll see how it goes.
I gotta tell you, man, she sounds very Asian to me. That's most what you describe as like 80%, 90% of most Asian moms.
Like, I love it.
Exactly.
I love it.
So there's a part of you, James, that's actually more Asian than you think.
Yeah. I don't actually fit into any culture. When I'm in Latin America, I say in Spanish, mi cuerpo gringo, mi corazón latino, which is my body is a white guy, but my heart is a Latino. And they find that interesting.
Are you sure you're not a Twinkie though? You sound more
What's
like
a Twinkie?
You're white outside and yellow on the inside.
All right, there you go.
No, the opposite way
you're
around.
Asian inside. You're very Asian inside.
Yeah, I'm cool with
It's a
that.
reverse turkey, actually.
The
No, the
reverse of that
Twinkie
is like we would tell people that they're a banana, you know. If they're Asian but they think more white, then they're
Oh,
a
okay.
banana. So,
All right, there you go.
there you go, right?
I love it.
Oh man.
I just got adopted.
So so James, you've been to so
Yep.
many places as you mentioned.
Mhm.
Like you know, what are some of the favorite places that you've been to?
Well, I love the question because I'm one of those weirdos. I'm not a good critic. So if someone says, "What's your favorite movie?" You know, and I'll tell them that I love every movie, and they're like, half of those are the worst movies ever. I'm like, hey, look, I didn't go to the movie to be a critic. I went to the movie to be entertained. So
Right.
I wasn't there crapping on the movie. I was there, take me on a journey. I don't care where you go. So, in the same with travel, I loved everywhere I've been. I loved everywhere I've been. Singapore is an interesting one. I call it the world's happiest dictatorship. It is.
That's a funny way of putting it. Yeah, you're right.
Everyone is happy, everyone is safe, and everyone knows if you cross a line, woo,
That's it, man. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
like it's just like it's the safest place for people who obey the rules and
Yeah.
stay between the lines. And if you
Yeah.
live between the lines, it's the best place on earth, right? Because it's
Right.
like the only people not safe here are the people who are not safe to be with. Like, so
Yeah.
dangerous people are afraid in Singapore. Safe people are safe in Singapore. It's a fascinating and beautiful
Fascinating.
place.
That's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. Yeah. You're absolutely right though. I mean, the Singaporeans that I know, uh gosh, it's like my take on Singapore is that it's like you're allowed to bitch, moan, and complain like a typical Asian up to a certain point, but you just have to be aware of what are some of the red flags that if you complain about those things in the open, you get into trouble. You know what I mean? It's like you can bitch and moan and complain about the food, the weather. You can talk about like, the night safari has really like, they need more animals in the night safari, things of that nature, like
how does that work with a night safari? Do you see anything? It's like a night safari sounds like, okay, we're in the dark. Do you see the cheetah? No. Do you see the lion?
Like,
no.
Yeah. Well,
They're right next
it's a great
to you.
place though.
Yeah.
Bird paradise is not a good one. So like all their zoos and attractions and stuff, like they're all located in the same place in Singapore. But my point is like you can complain about like, oh gosh, the trash here in the bird paradise. Oh, somebody's really like management should do more about it and pick up the trash that I see. Like they'll get on it quick. So stuff like that you're allowed to complain about. But anytime you criticize, say, the government, or if you talk about sensitive political issues, then somehow you
probably
cross the
not
line,
best.
right? Yeah.
That's
kind of like that.
That's a topic, right? I'm really concerned about a world that is comfortable removing free speech. I really, that worries me, right? Because, and the people who they start with, well, we've got to stop hate speech. But then when you dig down, hate speech is defined by any speech they hate. So it's not about hate. It's about I hate it, so you're not allowed to say it. Well, then you're completely against free speech. And if you look at the history of those who went against free speech, who shut down free speech, they're the same people who killed tens of millions of people and many of their own citizens. So anyone who's against free speech makes me a little nervous. Now in Singapore, because I'm not political anyway. Well, I think I've become more political since, but back when I was there a lot, I never had a political thought in my head other than this place is really cool and everyone's really cool and I like everybody and like I didn't have any opinions. So, but now I think honestly, if someone said we want you to go back to London, I've been in UK a lot, and if they say we want you to speak in London, I'd be like, I don't know. I mean, they're going to find some Facebook post where I said something. They're going to throw me in jail, right? I'm like, what happened to the world? Like I'm afraid to travel, not because of criminals, but by dictatorships that will arrest you for words. It's like you hurt someone's feelings. Well, you telling me that hurts my feelings. So F you, like lock yourself up. Like I don't, this whole, you're not allowed to say.
It's a slippery slope.
Right,
basically.
Yeah. It's like, I might hate what you say, but I'll defend your right to say it. Sorry, go ahead, Raymond.
Oh, did you watch that comedy special on Netflix with Dave Chappelle?
The
So
trans
his
one where
newest,
you got in a lot of trouble?
no, it's the new one. It's the new one that
Oh,
came out
no, I
over
haven't.
the holidays. So I was watching that. So he referenced his. Remember, he went to do a show, that comedy show in Saudi Arabia,
No,
and
I
he
didn't know about
was.
that one.
So if you watch it, he was talking about that where it's also about free speech, and then he was like,
Mm,
"Oh, why did I do it? Oh, was it because of money? Yeah, of course. He gave him a buttload of money, right? So yeah, I'm gonna do it." But he said it was so easy to do his jokes there. Like he could do his transgender jokes. He could do his,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
those kind of jokes, and then they were just cracking up. And then over here,
yeah,
yeah, he almost got canceled because he did that,
yeah,
you know, those jokes. And he's like,
yeah,
"Why did I go there? Well, because U.S. is, you know, he's like United States. It's supposed to be free speech, but you know, hey,
hmm
I can
That's
I'm
a good
so
point. Yeah.
I can't, you know, I can't say all these jokes. I can't do all the,
yeah,
or I have to get canceled, right? And then,
yeah,
but in Saudi Arabia, it's like everything goes. Just don't make fun of the, you know, the people in power. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. The empire,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
And to that point, like to be clear, I'm a big fan of free speech. I'm also a big fan of love and respect. And so
Mm.
if someone wants to make fun of white people or Asian people or trans people or anything, if it's fun between friends, then it's fun. If you're
That's
being
an important
mean,
distinction, right?
yeah, if you're
Yeah.
being mean, if you really don't like someone and you're telling a joke, then you're not qualified to tell a joke because you
Mm.
don't like them. If you love each other, like guys are mean to each other, right? Like I
Yeah,
see
sure, all the
when
time. Yeah.
women meet at a restaurant, it's like, oh, I love that dress, I love those shoes, I love that hair. Do you think guys are going to do that? It's like, hey, dickhead, sit down, shut up, you look fat. Like
Yeah.
that's how we say
Yeah.
hi. That's how
That's
we
how we say
say I
hello. Yeah.
love you. You know,
right.
so we reveal our bonds through abusive jokes,
Yeah.
and we hold each other accountable. It's like, dude, you're letting yourself go. Like we're going to be tough on each other, and we're
Yeah.
going to make fun of each other, but it's coming from the right place. And so I'm not a fan of cruelty, disrespect, mockery, anything like that. Not cool. Entirely not cool. Freedom of
Yeah.
speech, fine. Maybe it's not against law, and maybe it never should be, but it's still not cool. But when
Yeah.
people like, I love making fun of everything. I would love to make fun of everything, but it's because I actually love everybody, and I actually love all cultures, and I love all perspectives. And like, if I was to tell a trans joke, I also would probably hang out with trans people laughing about it
Mhm.
after. You know, like it's not. If you're mean in your heart, you should probably talk less and get therapy. And so if people are coming from the right place, that's a big difference. It's a big
Mhm.
difference. And when people have like genuine respect for each other, then have at it.
Yeah.
You guys know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not free. My belief in free speech is not not me advocating cruelty, disrespect, or
Oh,
anything
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
actually
Yeah.
harmful. But
Right.
but if someone, like, I like the fact that if in a free speech world, you find out what people really believe. Yeah, you know, if you let them off the chain long enough, you're going to find out they're racist or sexist or mean or disrespect women, or, you know, it's like, I love the fact that people can talk, because eventually we're going to figure out who they really are. So
Yeah.
it's great. Even if it's not cool, it's great because now we know who they are.
No, I think it's important to understand that people who are against free speech, and especially if they're coming from a really bad place, you know, they just want to hurt people, is that
Hmm.
it leaves no room for nuance, right?
Yeah.
That's a problem, because when you try to do away with it altogether, it leaves no room for nuances. And as you
Yeah.
said earlier, reading between the lines, staying between the lines,
Yeah.
that's what being a human is all about, you know, understanding the nuances. It's
Yeah.
never at face value. You know, people are much more complex and layered than that, right?
Yeah.
Especially here in Asia, you know, like we rarely mean what we say. And most people from the West, right? They get so culture shocked when they come here. You know, the first thing they discover within the first 2 weeks is that, like, Jesus, like nobody kind of like gets my jokes, or like you know, like, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but like people seem to be offended, or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, people here are so cold, like nobody really wants to engage
Yeah.
with me. It's not that, it's just maybe, oh, maybe this Asian person is a little shy, right? You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
you have to read in between the lines, right?
Yeah.
So like,
Read the
it's just,
room, right? Read the
exactly,
room.
even it's the same for our parents. Like, you know, I tell Reynolds this all the time, like, when your mom cuts fruit for you, she doesn't say, I love you, but that's a way of saying, yeah, like, here, have some fruit. I love you. That's kind of like how it goes over here in this part of the world.
You guys are lucky you get fruit. All I get is insults, but it's still,
well,
it's still I love you.
Too.
It's still it's still I love you.
Well, don't worry, we get the insults too. Trust me, and a buttload of other stuff on top of that. But
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. But going back to your point about Singapore, one of the things that came to my mind while you were talking about that place was that there's also another angle that I never used to consider before, but then recently it's come to my attention, which is, I told you earlier that I grew up in the Philippines, right? So I have a lot of friends who eventually moved to Singapore and then got their citizenship, and then now they're full-on Singaporeans, right? So coming from a place like the Philippines and then now living in Singapore, it gives you a unique perspective on what life is like over there. Because as you said, all the issues that we brought up earlier, those are all valid. But, most of my Filipino friends who became Singaporeans, what they would say would be like, yeah, I hear all of that, but, like, I'm just so grateful to be here. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, if you come from a place that is quote unquote, the shittier, right? Because of all the poverty and the corruption and all the inefficiencies and stuff. And you go to a place in Singapore, like, yeah, obviously it has its problems. But then if you have, if you're coming from a place like the Philippines, it's suddenly like, hey, this ain't too bad.
Right.
I never used to think about looking at a place with that kind of lens before. And then suddenly when they mentioned that, I was like, yeah, that kind of frames a lot of things and puts them in perspective, right? Like, for example, like, we see in the news and we shit on the US all the time, like, the US, blah, 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 blah. But then let's say, for example, you came up from a place where there's absolutely no free speech. Like, you're faulted for just being alive, right? Let's say you belong to a different class or you're a woman or you're transgender, gay, whatever. And then coming from a place like that and then, going to a place like the US must be such a relief in a lot of ways, right? So it's all levels. I think it's all levels. It's all perspective, but I think going back to what we were saying about free speech is at least you're able to express all these thoughts or all these things that you realized about being human if you're allowed to talk, right?
Yeah.
The problem is when you're not even allowed to talk.
Yeah.
That's when the problems begin, right? And there's only one viewpoint that's allowed,
Yeah. And for me, just to be clear, there's nothing I said about Singapore that I would call a criticism. It was an awareness. Because everyone is perfect, everywhere is perfect. It's just a different version of perfect. It's just unique. Right. And there's so much about it I love. If someone said, there's a new rule, James, you have to live in Singapore, I'd be thrilled. I love Singapore. I love it. Well, I mean, I'm one of those guys who stays between the lines, and I'm not going to pick unnecessary fights. Like, it's perfect. It's safe. I remember I was sitting at a cafe. It was a bar. It was an evening after a speech, and I'm sitting there and I'm just drinking in the humid night. I love humidity, which maybe you guys don't, but I do.
Florida's perfect for you then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's one of the things I loved about Malaysia and Thailand and Singapore. And so I'm just sitting there, just drinking it in. And I was startled by the number of very attractive young women walking around, even on their own, walking down the street in like short skirts. And you might say, oh, James, you're creepy. No, I notice beautiful women. It's not my fault. But
hey, man, I do that too,
What blew my mind, but what blew my mind is they were fearless. And I thought, whatever the price tag is for these young women to feel that safe, it seems to me it's a good idea. I love the idea that these young ladies were fearless, and rightfully so, because no one messes with people. Like, it's just, I love the idea that it's safe. And then I'll go to somewhere else where you would say, well, it's not safe. Well, there's something else I'm going to love there. I'm going to love the food, or I'm going to love when I was in Thailand, I had this moment. I walked into this like a corner store, like a 7-Eleven or whatever, just to get a bottle of water. And I walk in, and they had taught me Sawadee Cup, right? The Sawadee Cup.
The greeting,
yeah. And so I'm kind of proud of myself that I learned this greeting, So I don't know much, but I was proud. I learned one thing. So I went in there, and as I'm walking towards the refrigerator to grab a bottle of water, The staff, they're just a normal, like, hey, just a little acknowledgement of my existence. And there was a couple, so let's say there was a total of 5 people in the store, 2 were staff, okay, something like that. And so I thought, I'm going to whip out this sawadee cup.
Sawadee cup, yeah.
Yeah, I was so proud of myself. So as I'm walking to the thing, and they're just acknowledging me, I just acknowledged them, and I said, sawadee cup. Everybody stopped everything. Whatever they were doing, they turned, they faced me, they did this, and they gave me the sawadee cup. I'm like,
oh, that's nice.
I'm like, holy crap, what did I just create? Like, it was awesome.
Right.
It really
energy,
was.
Yeah.
It was like the yoga namaste, and I know namaste didn't start with American yoga, but I'm just saying the idea that the divine in me is acknowledging the divine in you, and I just thought, you don't get that everywhere. You don't get that, like. Look, a fellow soul. And it's like everything else is secondary. You stop and you acknowledge a fellow human. I was like, oh my gosh, I can move here in a heartbeat. So everywhere I go, I find beauty and I find uniqueness. And so I'll point out things that are different and maybe convenient or not. But I am not a critical spirit. I love everywhere. And so I just wanted to say that there's no criticism coming from me. It's unique and different. Everywhere is.
Again, just nuances, right, James?
It's
just nuances. Also, like my personal feeling about it is that there's no one place that has it all or is all bad or all good, right? So it's all about preference or deal breakers. Like even being in this part of the world, like I love Taiwan. It's great. There are many good things I want to say about it. But, like one of the things that I don't like about this place is that they're too soft in crime. And
I hate that.
That's something
I don't like
that can
that.
be improved
I'm with you
right?
on that. Yeah.
Right. So it's just, I think what you're saying with the superhuman movement is that you're being able to see the good in every place that you go, right?
Yeah.
And acknowledge the divine in each other, right?
Yeah.
And when you make that connection, everybody brightens up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, there are places where it's like, and it's funny too. You mentioned like just being able to walk out on the street, just wearing shorts and just being relaxed. This topic came up in my friend group just the other week because one of our friends, a good friend of his, who was a Taiwanese woman, is now living in the UK. And again, no disrespect to the UK, but she had a horrible experience. Like a gang of boys just sexually harassed her, and thankfully she wasn't raped or anything. But she was terrified because she was walking home by herself at night, and then this gang of boys just came and sexually harassed her. And then she was so shocked because she came from a high trust society like over here in Taiwan, right? Where you're able to walk alone as a woman by yourself at night without any problems. And I just feel like this is one example of like, there are shitty things that happen everywhere. But conversely, for example, when I was in the UK, I was like, wow, this place has great Indian food, for example, so much history. And I loved it. It was enjoyable. But obviously, there are also negative things about every place that you go, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm with you on the soft on crime. There's something unnatural about the soft on crime environments. Like, for an example, in Canada, they put out a thing recently. Well, I'm going to backtrack. So I think it was maybe 6 months ago. A criminal breaks into a family home. And of all weapons, he has a crossbow.
What?
I'm like, what are you in the 1700s? Like, dude, get a Glock, grow up. Anyway, so he breaks. Oh, you forgot your sword?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he goes in and he goes in, and what he did was he had 2 other people breaking in with him, but he was the first one in. The first criminal goes in, and he's going after like the wife and the children.
Oh no!
Yeah, and the husband tries to defend his wife and little kids,
as he should, of course. Yeah.
And Mr. Crossbow nails him in the head with the butt of the crossbow. I guess he couldn't get an arrow off or something. Nails him, drops him to the ground, and starts beating the heck out of him. So he's close to going unconscious. He's losing. He's getting his butt kicked. He's split open, and now the other 2 are coming for the wife and kids. And this guy's like, I gotta survive. Well, he finds a way to survive the onslaught, then gets the better of the guy. He beats the guy up, the first guy. So the first guy is now beaten up. He's not dead. He's not stabbed. He's not shot, but he's beaten up. The Canadian police arrested the man who owned the home.
I know, right? This is so ridiculous. Ridiculous.
And then they put out a national announcement: when people break into your house, please give them everything. Let them do whatever they want. Do not interrupt. Do not interrupt these people. Oh, and in Canada, if you didn't shovel your walkway and they slip on it, they can sue you. While
that's your fault.
On their way out of stealing your stuff, they can sue you
wow.
and win. And
so it's so ridiculous.
And then I saw a thing from Florida. Florida cop says, "Y'all break into a house in Florida, our citizens are armed and dangerous.
Yeah.
And I encourage them to blow you off the planet." I'm like, that's a bit different, right? So if you say, law of the jungle, someone breaks into your house, do to them whatever you want, right? Law of the jungle, right? I'm not saying yes or no. Or you say, the other extreme, let them do whatever they want. Well, I'm having a problem with all of this, right? Because it's like, I didn't break into his house. I didn't threaten his children. You break into my house? I'd like to think I'm a pacifist. I really do. I'd love it if I could just talk you out of it. But if my children are threatened, I'm not positive I'm going to be New Testament. I might be Old Testament, you know? You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't sell you life insurance right now. That would that might be a bad idea. I'd love to be kind and gentle, but I want the freedom to protect myself and my family. I don't. I'm not asking for this. I never want it to happen.
Right.
But why are you making the victim the bad guy? Like, that's sick.
Yeah, so ridiculous.
So it's like, I don't think would have as many, you know, I'll just go with the sexual assault or the cruelty or chasing, being mean or whatever. I don't think would have as many rapists and pedophiles if men were allowed to take care of business, right? Like if someone messed with my wife or child and they went missing, people like that would stop behaving like that. I'm not saying I'm, going to want to hurt anyone, but there's something about, if it was tribe, like let's say a group of 150 people living in a tribe, and one of the guys is bad to the women and children, the other guys are going to take him out of town. And he might not come back. And if he does, he ain't going to be the same. And there was something about that was corrective. But now it's like, you're not allowed, and we're not going to either. It's like, well, then what? Right?
Yeah, I'm not even sure when did that happen. I mean,
it's sick.
What you just told us a while ago kind of reminded me of one of the news headlines here a couple of years ago, which is, again, a home invasion. Somebody broke into this man's house. He happens to be like a Taekwondo instructor. So he's like, he knows how to fight, basically, right? His wife was pregnant with his child at that time when the home invasion began. And so he did what he had to do. He stopped the invasion. He beat up the guy. And like what you said is like, he was charged instead of the guy that broke in. It's like, in what world are we living in where a man is not allowed to protect his family and his property? And in fact, it's this kind of ruling just discourages men in the future to take appropriate action, right? So there's this concept that I constantly abide by, which is like, you have to look at every situation according to necessity and whether or not it's appropriate, right? So let's say, for example, going back to the home invasion example, if the guy came in, you successfully defended yourself, but you keep beating on him and you take his life, might be a little extreme. Okay, that's not appropriate and that's not necessary. You've already stopped the invasion, right? Conversely, it's like, well, if they came in and the law says, just let them take whatever they want, that seems wrong too, right? So I'm all with you, James. Like, you gotta find the nuance there, right? You gotta straddle that line, because I think we should give more credit to human beings that we kind of understand the nuance. The most of the problems, I think, begin when some legislator just passes an overreaching law that says, everybody should just do this from now on. It's like, but dude, come on. Like, every situation's kind of different, right? So how do you interpret that? So I feel like understanding the nuance and what you're saying about just even communication in situations, not even with each other, but with yourself and situations. It all goes back to that same skill that you were talking about being a superhuman. And that's all part of it, I feel. Yeah. Hey, Reynolds, like in LA, for example, like you guys are well known for a lot of crime, right? So
not you
what
personally.
what are some of the things that
don't
are
do
going on
crime.
over there?
Well, when it comes to home invasion, I think it was you can't, because we all, we're Americans, we all have guns, right? So you can't shoot them from the back. So if they're running away, you can't shoot it, right? I
Quick,
guess
turn
so.
around.
You gotta, right? You gotta get them to turn around first, right? You gotta, or they have to engage first, but then it's like self-defense, right? We use that a lot. Self-defense. I was just defending myself, right?
Right.
But yeah, I guess but
shoot
someone
them in
also
the back.
right, yeah. You can't shoot them in the back, but if they're facing you, go for it, right? But
oh man.
also I think police one time an officer also said, yeah, just rough them up and then just leave. Right? If you're on the street, right? Just if they're rough them up and then if you get the better of them, if they're trying to steal your car,
Don't be there when we find them.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
exactly. Right? Vigilante,
gosh.
give them some justice and then just move on. You don't got to stay there and wait for it. So I'm thinking maybe in a house situation, maybe if you just mess them up, take them out to the curb and just stay here.
Yeah.
Just call the police. Hey, I hear something outside. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, for me, like, and honestly, gents, I really don't want anyone to ever experience violence. I don't want anyone to be hurt. I don't want the home invader to be hurt. I don't want them to be a home invader. I don't want anyone hurt. So I'm not like, let us off the chain so we can, no, I want everyone to play nice. I really don't want anyone to be, but when you handcuff innocent people and you re-victimize victims, there's something seriously wrong. There's something seriously wrong. I heard of this horrific story, and I don't even know which country it is, but there was a gang rape that occurred, and this young lady was victimized by multiple people, like over 15, maybe low 20s, and they were texting each other saying, hey, we've got this girl, come and join us. They were, and they got text records of these guys texting each other saying, come to the corner of whatever, we got this girl. And they found DNA from, let's say, 15 of the guys. And I don't know all the details of the case. I think only one was charged or something like that. And I'm like, how do you fail at charging all of these guys? You've got their text messages. You've got, the girl is telling. And anyway, so it's a horrible story. Well, the victim, she has a female friend who knew some of the accused.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So she texts one of the accused whose DNA was found and called him a name, like you, whatever, maybe racist or something. She was locked up. She was put into a prison. The guy who raped was not.
Man.
And I'm saying you can't get that twisted and expect society to be cool with it.
Yeah.
Like, how can you arrest a girl for having strong words for a rapist, and you have his DNA, but he doesn't suffer, she does? I was like, come on, no.
Talk about missing the forest for the tree there.
Yeah. So to me, it's like, that is not, there's nothing even remotely sane, let alone just. And so to me, I'm not for anyone hurting anyone. I want everyone to play nice. I'm merely saying there's something natural about, like, when let's say if I was a kid, and let's say I was 12 or something like that, and I was mean to a girl in class, pulled her hair or something because I had a crush on her, I didn't know how to handle it. You know what I mean? I was a jerk. No, I'm just saying, if that happened, and if her father came to the school and smacked me in the face, I would learn a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
seems appropriate to me.
If there's no corrective anywhere, when you protect rape gangs, when you protect, when you tell citizens they're not allowed to take care of justice, and we refuse to take care of justice, then injustice flourishes. And I don't want anyone hurt. I don't want anything bad to happen. But that is a very dangerous environment to create. Where victims are re-victimized, anyone who tries to take care of their own is victimized, and criminals are the safest people in the country. There's something incredibly twisted, and it's not sustainable. It is beyond dysfunctional. It's very disturbing. That's all I'm saying.
This is how people like Batman's created, right?
Yeah.
When society goes that bad, somebody like a Batman is created, and
no, I do.
we'll get justice one way or another. Yeah,
I was thinking there would be like vigilante people starting to pop up, and I don't encourage that either. I would just love it if it was respectful, appropriate, safe.
Yeah,
it's not crazy.
Suddenly, Singapore doesn't sound so bad,
right?
I know, right? I mean, like, this is one thing that I tell all my Singaporean friends, though, is like, yeah, I'm all for caning. I mean, like, it sounds cruel, but then, I mean, if you meet up with animals like that who do this kind of injustice to another human being, I think the punishment has to be appropriate so that it deters future criminals from doing the same thing. Because if it's so soft, everybody's just like, well, if it's just a slap on the wrist, why not? I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and anyway, I think there's something natural about protecting the vulnerable. There's something natural about that. And it doesn't mean hurting people who have lost their way. It's just protect the innocent. That's not asking for too much. Just create a safe environment.
So to pivot a little bit, James, now that
that wasn't fun. Sorry, guys. My fault.
No, we love to talk about stuff. Anything goes. I mean, like, so you've been to the East and the West. What are some of the insights you can share with us about, what are some of the things you've noticed about Asians that are kind of unique and different, with Western people? I'd love to hear your thoughts about that.
So,
because we're obviously very different, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that bond us, that we have these commonalities, but still, there are these interesting nuances and differences between the Asians and Westerners, right? So, like, what are some of the things that you noticed? What are interesting?
Well, one of the things that I think I noticed that made me shy in some of the Asian cultures, and not all the same, is the quiet humility that if I'm not careful, I will be a bull in a china shop. Like I'll say a joke and everyone goes, I'm like, oh, sorry, or I just feel like I would benefit from being more calm and mindful, because I think I could be careless with a joke or whatever when people want to be honorable and respectful, and it's not my intention not to be. But I can have that, even though I'm Canadian, I could have that, what people think of as a brash American kind of a energy, where I can come on too strong, I can be too aggressive, and it's not my intent. And I've felt like, oh, James, come on, man, bring it down. And that's something that I really wanted to teach myself, to be just more cautious. And one of the more amazing things about the Asian culture, I think, and you can please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there's more of a perception of, there is more of a responsibility on me or you, whatever, to think about what the other person is thinking and feeling. Whereas in America, it's more, well, they didn't tell me they were offended. Well, they didn't tell me they didn't like it. They didn't tell me. Like if you don't say it in America, I'm not responsible to know it.
Right.
Whereas
that's a good observation, actually.
In Asian cultures, it's like there was an old story, and I don't know if it's accurate. It was one of the earlier days when Japanese business and American business were trying to figure out how to deal with each other. And a Japanese, very successful man was in the States, and he was being honored and respected, and and when he was invited to somebody's home, another wealthy, powerful person, and the host said, "Can we get you some? Would you like something to eat?" And he had just the gentleman had just flown across the world without food or whatever, so it's reasonable that they would be hungry. And when the host said, "Would you like something to eat?" they said, "Are you hungry? Would you like something to eat?" They said, "No." And what they later found out is he was starving. But the onus was on the homeowner, and this is the way I was taught it, to know he's hungry and present food. Don't make him say, "Give me food." Don't put it on him. You should be mindful of his needs and present. And I thought, that's not the I'd say North American way.
Right, you're not expected to know that, right? Yeah.
If you don't ask, if you don't ask, so I liked the awareness of a shared onus of responsibility to not just say you didn't say it, or you didn't say it right, or you didn't say it well enough, or you didn't repeat it, and say, I would like to be mindful of another person's thoughts, feelings, preferences, and comfort without demanding they articulate it. And that's something that I thought, I could get a lot better at this, just to be truly mindful of the other person's
I think we just want to
experience.
save face. It's like we want to be asked 2 or 3 times before we say yes, just not to seem so greedy, or, we don't want to impose, right? So, it's all about saving face. Reynolds, what do you think?
As an Asian, we're very conservative. We're brought up with a lot of rules, like manners.
Yes.
I think it's more complex, more than American. Like, just like even when we greet people, there are certain things, like an auntie or uncle, like there's certain, we have to greet them a certain way. And then when we're like you're saying, offer food or something, like we can't come off like we're greedy, even though we're hungry, to the point of starvation. We still have to be respectful, like until they like offer the actual food or something. Like,
right.
Or, it's a very applied culture. I think with Taiwan, I mean, a lot of stems from like maybe Japanese culture too. It's very like that. But in growing up in America, I was like, just speak your mind. If you want it, just ask for it, right? Like, be bold, and it's just like, I want some food. What you guys got in the pantry? Right? But in America, it's like, you go to a friend's house or something. You don't ask what they have in the pantry or in the cabinet.
Oh, that's like, so rude, right?
Even though you don't know they got they got the good stuff, right? You're just waiting for the mom to say, "Hey, you want some of these snacks we got?" You're just waiting, but.
Interesting. I'm thinking as we're talking that my upbringing was more Asian than American.
I told you. James, I told you.
In that way, because we were taught, like someone had to almost force us to take something before we would accept it, as kids. Like if we were never allowed sweets, if I had a can of Coke, that would be maybe once a year. Didn't get treats, just strict, And so if we were visiting family and someone said, "Hey kids, do you want some candy?" all 4 of us would just look at our father. We're like, we don't know, do we?
Right?
We don't know if we want candy. We're not sure. And if he gave us a nod, but only one, never asked for 2. And just, when you're invited into someone's home, you're not invited into the entire home. You're invited into the hallway. And then if they invite you into another room, you're invited to that room. But you don't go walking around. And we were horrified when one of my sisters was dating a guy. And he was, like, come on in, welcome to the house. He walked straight to our kitchen, opened up the fridge to see what he wanted. And we were like, what the heck? Like, how is this your house? We just thought it's like, that was shockingly rude.
That kid would
He
have
just walked
failed
in.
immediately in an Asian household. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
parents would be like, no, you can't date this boy. He's got no
If-
manners.
I could bring up that story now, and it's 40 years old. I could bring up that story, and before I got near the punchline, my siblings would all go, "Oh yeah, when he did that." Like it was just like, it was so shocking. So we were raised more in that environment, and definitely in the States. If you don't ask, you shouldn't expect to get. Like you have to ask for a raise, you have to ask for what you want, because the onus is on you. Whereas in some cultures, the onus is on the other person. Like in Canada, well, in my family, you never ask for something that is unreasonable because the other person feels compelled to say yes. You know, so if in Canada, at least in my family, if you said to me, if I had one sandwich left and I'm going to starve, and you said, "Can I have half your sandwich?" I have to say yes. I can't say no.
Yeah.
It's too
person
disrespectful
now,
to say
right?
to say no. It's your fault for asking for half of my last sandwich before I die. So you shouldn't have asked, but I have to comply. And that's just not the way it is in the States. It's like, "Can I have half your sandwich?" Like, drop dead. You're not getting it. Get your ass out of here. Like, like
Exactly.
Here, the onus is on ask for everything, and you're not obligated to say yes to anybody. And that's a very different energy than do not ask unless it's absolutely reasonable and appropriate, because the other person feels obligated to say yes. It's a very different energy.
Well, it's so interesting, though. So that means that maybe the old world values in the West are very similar to what it is here in Asia. It's only like in the latter half of, the century that things started to change. Or maybe it's just particularly to the Americans. But no, because it's so interesting you bring that up, because like when I listen to it, it's like it makes me think that, well, maybe it's also a generation thing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you were brought up in a different generation, and kids nowadays, I mean, even going back here to Asia, I think we're finally finding some kind of balance now. It's like the younger generation, they're not that timid anymore. They're not like me and Reynolds, we were brought up in the 80s and 90s, right? So we're from that generation where a lot of that old world values are still, handed down to us. But then the kids nowadays, like for example, my own son, he's 15, and they're still polite, but they're a lot more assertive. They are not afraid to speak up for what they want. And in a way, I kind of like that, because the problem with us Asians from our generation is that we're a little too timid. Like even when we're being taken advantage of, we don't know how to speak up for ourselves. And it's even worse for the generation of my parents. I mean, my mom would literally apologize for something that is not her fault. Like in a
that's very
confrontation.
Canadian. That's a Canadian thing.
We're starting to see similarities, right?
If you haven't apologized for apologizing too much, you're not Canadian.
It's so weird. Like my mom is constantly like, she's so bad with confrontations, because like even if the other party was at fault and did something to hurt her, because she's so bad at confrontations, she doesn't want to face up to it. She would apologize for it. And it constantly drives me insane. I'm like, why are you doing that? Why would you? And she even tells me to do the same thing. Like, one time she witnessed me having like kind of a little spat with one of my friends, and she was like, "Oh, you should say sorry." It's like, what? You don't even know what's going on. Why are you asking me to apologize? I was very upset at her for that. And afterwards I tried to explain to her what was going on. And I said, please do not pass down that kind of negative energy down to me, the generational trauma. I don't need that, And then, but I'm guilty of some of those things as well. And with my own kids, I hope that, the buck stops with me and I don't pass on too much of that to them. And what I want to see is some kind of balance, like I want them to be polite, respectful, but at the same time, they kind of know what they want, right?
Well, I love digging deeper and to say, what's the why behind it? So if let's say, let's say I want to be non-selfish. I don't want to be selfish, and I don't want to overly impose my will. And if it's because I'm afraid of rejection, or if it's because I don't think I'm as important as you, then that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
If, however, I see myself as 100% as valuable as you, I deserve love as much as you, I deserve respect as much as you, and I deserve the right to be affluent and happy and loved just as much as you. And I choose to say, have your way, have your way, have your way. You know, I'm not gonna push. Well, that is a very enlightened option, but it's not coming from unwellness, neediness. You know what I mean? Like like the same behavior can come from two very different places.
Yeah.
And so if I'm afraid to say, hey, can you do me a favor and not do that again? Or could you do me a favor and when we agree to meet at 7, could you be there at 7? Like it's just it's frustrating. I sit there for an hour and a half waiting for you. Like you know, do me a favor. I could have done something else for that hour and a half. Like, you know. But if I feel that if I say that, you won't be my friend anymore, then it is not about polite or impolite. It's about my unwellness manifesting itself in fake politeness, you know, or something like that. So it's like, look, I love you no matter what. I'm valuable no matter what. And I really hate waiting an hour for you. You know, I love you. I hate that. And to be able to either choose to say it or not to say it based on other factors, but not fear of acceptance, not you know, when it comes from the right place, then do or don't do. You know, love and do as thou wilt is it's a famous Christian theologian said, love and do what thou wilt. But if it's coming from an unwellness or a fear, whether it's polite or impolite, it's not the same. So wellness first, love for myself and others, respect for myself and others, and then choose what seems most appropriate for the moment. But that freedom that comes from wellness, I think, is the secret to it. Not always do this or never do that. Bureaucracy it's only for the most dysfunctioned, and those don't obey it anyway. So I really like, let's have wellness and respect, and then figure our stuff out.
Hey, Reynolds, what about for the Chinese community that are in the States? Have you guys evolved or changed somewhat? Is it still like that for you guys?
Some I think is like halfway. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't hang out with the younger generations to know as much, but see the older generations, I think they still stay in their lane. You know, we're still we want things and we ask for stuff, but I feel we're still muted out by all the other race, like, you know, the African Americans, the Latinos. They have a louder voice than the Asian community. I think over here it feels like ever since I was growing up, it's just keep your head down, keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully someone will notice you. Sort of that mentality. And when we do things like even when we do things like do political office type of stuff, it's generally within that the Asian community. Like say you're in a city live in a city that's predominantly like has a high percentage of Asians, and then you see some Asian guys or girls running for council or mayor of this, but you know that would be the extent. You know, some might get into the Senate, you know, trying to run for a Senate seat or something like that, but I feel it's still very within a certain community. We don't branch out as much.
Keep to ourselves, so to speak. Right?
Keep to ourselves.
You know what you just triggered in me, and maybe it's too big a question. Maybe we need to have another one of these, but I find it fascinating that all people groups, all religions have been victims of racism, sexism, abuses, whatever. Everyone suffered from everyone. You know what I mean? Like there isn't a single group of good guys and a single group of victims. It's just you know, it's just not true. So every people group has the story of, you know, we're hard done by.
Right.
That said, to me, I'm honestly fascinated by and respectful of the absence of victim crying from Asian communities. on average, right? So you think of in the U.S., you know, I think it was Chinese who were building the railroads, and they didn't mind blowing up a mountain that they were in and killing a bunch of people, and and then during the Second World War, Japanese people suffered greatly in the U.S. And so it's not like Asian countries and people groups have not suffered, but you don't hear about it. It just seems like Asian cultures say, okay, that happened. So how do we rebuild? How do we heal up? How do we get better? How do we, progress? But it's not coming from everybody owes us, we're hard done by, even when that's valid. And I find that curious, and I have a great deal of respect for it might, I don't know where it's coming from, but it's something along the lines of suck it up, make your life better. It is what it is. It happened. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Now be a better person, find your way, rebuild your country, rebuild your family. And it just seems to be the onus of responsibility for my life being great after unfair tragedy stays with me. And I find that curious. Do you guys have thoughts on that, or is that too big a question?
I find it curious too, because that's basically what my father tells me all the time. Even if I could go through one of life's biggest tragedies, he would basically tell me, oh, just suck it up.
Welcome to Earth.
Yeah. And it's very different from some of the parents of my friend group from other countries. If something terrible happened to them, the reaction from their parents would be totally different from an Asian parent. Like the Taiwanese parent would be like, yeah, what do you want me to tell you? Life is tough, and so just try to pull yourself up and keep going. I don't know where it comes from. I can say this though, like a food for thought is like one of the most popular shows, not just in Japan, but also in Taiwan back in the 80s, was about this woman who, and it's one of those soaps that have been running for God knows how many episodes, right? But anyway, the basic premise of the show is that this woman has undergone tremendous hardships in life, right?
Yeah.
Unimaginable hardships, something that would, even if you just experience like a fifth of what you went through, would break anybody, would break you. But she's gone all through all of that, and she still managed to come out, in one piece. That show, the fact that it ran for so long, had such great ratings, kind of tells you about the sentiments and feelings, of Asian people, right? Like there's something about that that's very attractive to Asians, especially from that generation. Obviously, that show, if you play it now, nobody wants to watch that. But back in the day, everybody was enthralled, and that kind of tells you about the psyche, right, of Asian people. Right.
Yeah. It's like,
why is it what is it about suffering that is so attractive?
But I honestly, Vic, in my opinion, and this is just like I'm a person who has experienced unfair. I've experienced unjust. I've been beaten, hung, drowned. I survived. I've been robbed. I've been maligned. I've been betrayed. I've been embezzled. I have experienced oceans of that's not right. That shouldn't have happened to that guy, right? But I just live with a perception of, so what? Nobody gives it. Like, hey everyone, let's have a therapy session for James. It's like, so welcome to Earth. Like, figure your stuff out. Like I actually have who told you life was fair? Who lied to you and told you life was supposed to be easy and always comfy? And you should live on bonbons and rainbow. No, this Earth is a place where things are unfair. Nothing has ever been fair. It's just not the way it is. And life is tough. And frankly, it sucks. But there's ways to make it worth it. And there's ways to make it great. And so to scream about injustice is to scream, I believe the lie that life should be easy and fair. It's just not the way, that's not the Earth I've experienced. And so to me, and I know this might be who the heck am I, but to me, I really respect that perception of, so what are you going to do about it? Yeah, it happened. Why are we talking about it? What do you want to talk about it again? Is that going to cheer you up? Like, the question is, what life do you want to have, not what happened. That's not, I mean, it is what it is. How do you learn a lesson, store up, become more patient or more strong or more disciplined or more careful in who you trust? Like, let's talk about moving forward. And sometimes I do that to a fault, and I don't respect myself enough to say, okay, you're allowed to feel crappy. You're allowed to be sad.
Acknowledge the hurt. Yeah.
You're allowed to cry and say that was unjust. Okay, are you done now? I don't give myself as much grace as maybe I could, but I lean towards what are you going to do about it? Like, it is what it is, and now what? And so I kind of align with that, and I'm not sure if that's.
I think this goes back to what I was saying to you a while ago about how a lot of my friends from the Philippines, when they finally do move to Singapore or even Taiwan, for example. And then, their attitude is basically what you just described, which is like, I came from a really bad place and I'm in a better place. And this is all that I'm focusing on. Like, there's no use for me to cry over spilt milk and, woe to me and look back to my past, blame my circumstances or blame people. Like, I find that spirit. And that's why they generally have that kind of reply to me, which is like, this ain't too bad. Like, this is much better. This is much better. But if you know their backstory, it's like, wow, it's like, okay. Can't believe you're that lighthearted about all of that. But there's something there I should be learning from you, Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, I think, I know. I think we could go all day with this topic, but something that me and Vic joke about is everything we do is for just because we want our mom's love, right? So when it comes to Asians, we grow up in a comparison, like, okay, we're never good enough, even though we are good enough, right? Even getting an A is like, oh, but Johnny over there got A plus. Oh, you got 100. Well, Johnny,
there were no bonuses.
There, he did the bonus questions and got a 110. Oh,
Johnny can play the cello.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
And then so we're here growing up and say, oh, you went through something hard. Okay, well, I'm just gonna pay attention to Johnny, who's doing something better, right? We don't, we don't get the it's okay, you didn't live up, it's okay, and I get this, and I can say this because I didn't go through as much as you, James, but I'm blind, so therefore that
are
was
you?
So that was a big thing on me, but no one really like sort of. Where my parents like, okay, they're just like, okay, what are you gonna do about it, right? So it was like, okay, I feel sorry for a moment, but then after it's like, okay, then you realize like, okay, the love, like, you're always trying to get the love of your parents, so you're like, oh, now they feel I'm inadequate, now I gotta work harder. I'm blind, but I need to work harder. I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. And then I'm gonna, like, I need to do something so I get that love back. I need to do extra. I need to go double time because now they feel I'm a loser, and now I need. So it's like, I feel like where the other cultures, I'm not saying, I just feel like everyone just says, oh, you know what? Hey, trying to use their loud voices to get their love. Like, hey, love me, right? Hey, I'm here. I can't walk. Please love me, right? For us, we, like I said, we sort of keep our head down and just keep chugging because it's like we want that love too, right? We're like any other human beings, right? We want that love, and our voices are very small, right? Right? Our voices are very small, and we feel like we're going to be yelling forever. We're going to get nowhere. No one's going to hear us. So all that we can do is just keep pushing forward. No matter what's going on, like, no matter.
Well, Reynold, to be fair though, I think our parents can learn a little bit about empathy. I mean, I get what they're trying to teach us. I'm sure they've had it harder than we did, being migrant parents. Also, like, just growing up in a different time in history. I get that. But I do think that they can learn a little bit of empathy and then showing a little bit more concern, especially to your situation, for example. It's not easy, but nobody, I think, would say that's an easy situation. So I think some kind of balance needs to be achieved. Maybe the best we can hope for is to have that kind of balance for our own children, right?
Yeah, I think the younger generation starts looking at. I mean, even say not just my disability, but other when it comes to special needs,
Yeah.
like my son's special need too. But
Oh,
like the way my parents say, like, oh no, he's not slow, or he's not. You're just not teaching him, right? You're not putting him into after school programs enough, right? You're not paying enough money to a tutor or something
yeah.
to come teach him, right? And it's more like, it's almost like that just walk it off. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just not working hard enough. Yes, that's sort of the our older generation. But I think,
Yeah, it seems a little extreme.
Yeah. And
our generation sort of realizing this, and trying to find a balance. But I think it just comes with time,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough now. Yeah.
well, I love this. I hope you guys are appreciating this conversation as much as I am. Like, I
do.
came on here, like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I just, I'm supposed to be an angry Asian uncle. I don't know what that means. So I just found it very entertaining, but this is insanely rich. And
Glad you
Reynold,
came on.
I really appreciate you sharing that I didn't realize that you're blind. I had there was nothing about our experience that led me to believe that. And so it really hits my heart, the conversation. And I'm thinking of a movie, Ray, with Jamie Foxx playing Ray
Yeah.
Charles.
Right.
And in that movie, Reynold, I wish you were able to see it, which is maybe a mean thing to say, but there was a visual, moment where he had lost his eyesight as a little boy, and it was due to impoverishment and lack of nutrition and so on. It's very, had his mother had money, he wouldn't be blind, that kind of thing. So it's really tragic, the story of how he lost his eyesight, if I understood it correctly. But she knew that if she babied him, he wouldn't survive. So he's blind, and there's a scene where he comes into the house and she's pretending she's not there. She stays silent. And he comes in and he's crying for his mother, and he's blind at this point in the movie as a small child. He's crying and he's tripping on things and he's hitting him, like hurting himself, like bumping into things, and he's crying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." And she's, I could cry. She's standing there silently bawling her eyes out. But out of love, as much as she could figure out, she thought, if I save him, I'm killing him. I must abandon him until he figures out he can make it. I can't rob him of the urgent necessity to be tougher in a tough world. And I will be killing him if I help him. And it's an incredibly moving scene where she's crying and crying. He figures out what he's trying to do. He finds the thing or does the thing. I can't remember what he's physically trying to accomplish in the scene. After he does it, he's calm now, and she's been crying the whole time, but she's celebrating that he figured it out, whatever he was trying to do. And then in the stillness, he says, "I know you're there."
Powerful.
It was like one of the most powerful scenes I've ever seen, because the mother abandoned him out of love to say, "I will suffer the feelings of watching this because I believe you've got to figure out how to manage this reality in a world that will never love you as much as I do. Yes, I want to save you, but if I save you, I'll be killing you." And it was just one of those powerful scenes that it's like, where was the training manual on how to be the perfect parent, to know how tough we're supposed to be, how gentle we're supposed to be, how much saving is right, And I heard recently a thing on parenting. It says, never do for your kids what they can do for themselves. Like, it's very damaging. And I heard this quote. It says, a parent's job is to prepare kids for the world, not to protect them from the world, but to prepare them for the world. And I don't think any parent has ever got it right. And maybe that means none of them, most didn't get it wrong, because they're trying to find a way to raise adults in a world that isn't safe.
Yeah, to add on top of that, though, the Asian parenting style is they subscribe by that, but at the same time, we're very clannish, right? Asians, especially Chinese people. So it's like a hybrid version of that, which is they will do that, and they can be very mean about it, like we talked about this whole night, out of tough love for you, hoping to make you stronger. But at some point, it's so weird. It reverses on itself. Like, for example, they'll tell you like, oh, when are you getting married? Like, oh, you're so fat. You should like lose weight, get some, eat less. And then suddenly, like, out of nowhere, I don't know when the switch flipped, they'll be like, hey, you know what? You're looking thin. You should eat more. I'm like, dude, you just told me yesterday that I was. And it's very weird. Like, I don't know when that moment occurs, but when it occurs, the script flips on its head, and suddenly they're like overly protective. They suddenly realize that they could lose you, and that is their greatest fear. Like in the first 20 years of your life, they're probably just keep pushing you, and then suddenly when you're about to spread your wings, they're like, no, just don't go yet. Like, I can't bear to see you go. It's a weird Asian thing, isn't it? Like, and it's like, you know what? I prepared this extra wing in our property. You don't have to move out, like you could just stay here. And then, even if you get a girlfriend and you marry, like we can make an annex, right? We can make an annex, and then we can all stay together. Like, but like I would kind of prefer to be in the city. Oh no, you don't have to be there all the time. Or even if you want to be there, tell you what, we'll get you an apartment. You can stay there from Monday to Friday. On the weekends, you can come home. Like Asian parents have a tendency to do do that, right, Reynold?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So it's like
so weird.
It's
like
love. It's love
signals,
after
right?
all. It's love after all. It's just the style. I'll tell you this about my dad. Just came to my mind. So my dad, as I mentioned, struggled with a lot of things, and I think the reason why he had such trouble with me is he was embarrassed about the more effeminate side, the feminine energy that was within him, and so he wanted to be more macho and less feelings. And I'm guessing he was more holistic as a child, and someone made fun of him for being kind. Like maybe he pet a cat, or he, whatever, said, oh, those are beautiful flowers. And someone made fun of him.
Somebody damaged him.
Yeah. What are you, a girl? Or like, who knows what happened?
Yeah.
But there was something about him that hated, like life or death, hated the feminine energy that was within him. And he wanted to be all macho. And so my father had two sons, and my brother was the perfect manifestation of the macho that my dad wanted to be. So his older son is the man, right? And then little old me shows up, and I'm more verbal fluent. I'm more emotional. I'm everything he's trying to kill in himself, and therefore he wanted to kill me. And he really had, like, part of him was a 100% perfect father who loved me and was proud of me and wanted all the best. Like it's almost like there were more than one people inside of that skin.
Right.
Part of him was the perfect, wonderful dad, had a great sense of humor and loved me. But there was this other thing that would trigger, and he really literally wanted to kill me. I know it. I know it. But
sorry to hear that.
Well, thank you. No, by God's good grace, it was part of. It was the training camp to make me me. So I'm grateful for every second of my life, no matter what. I'm grateful. But before he passed, a couple of things that happened. One, I finally was big enough, and he pushed me too far, and so I threw him around once, and he was a monster, just a monster, a mutant killing machine monster. But I had 20 years of his behavior bottled up, and so he got it in 1 minute. And so he was like, oh, okay. Little Jimmy is not little Jimmy anymore. You better think twice now. So that was the end of that when I turned the table. And I apologize. I never want to be bad. I never wanted to be mean, but I just snapped. So that happened. And then like, he didn't really live with us. He was a rolling stone. He was always somewhere. But before he passed, I was visiting him, and there were other people there, and he said, "So Jimmy, what do you do?" And I told him, I said, I'm an author, speaker, and I travel. And my whole family can't believe people pay me to talk, because they would pay me to shut up. Like they couldn't stand the fact that I never shut up.
That's family for you.
Yeah, whatever. But it's part of the package, right? Keep me humble. But he asked me, so what do you do? So I told him, he says, so how much do you make? And I don't know about your culture, but I'm like, you don't ask someone how much they make. Like, even if it's your own son, like, we're not that close. You know, I see you once a year or whatever. You don't ask me that. But he wouldn't give up. And he said, so like last month, how much did you make? And the previous month wasn't as high. It wasn't one of my bigger months. So I gave in and I told him. Well, he almost had a heart attack. He's like, Jimmy, I don't make that in 3 years. And I had made it in a medium month. And there was other people there. And I was embarrassed that I had talked about money, you know. But the blessing of the story was I could see my father completely proud. And it's like, wow, I had Jimmy wrong the whole time. He's more of a man than I could have ever imagined. And so I feel like I've got the proudest dad in heaven. He passed away not long after that. And so I was blessed with those kinds of victories of peace between us, forgiveness, respect, and whatever he did made me. So it's like, all right.
Yeah. All the good and the bad created you. Yeah. Hey, so Reynold, again, it goes back to, we should make more money.
Oh man.
Oh man, that's the hard part, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the Chinese Asian culture, it's you're not really supposed to talk about money, but we do it all the time. Everyone throws out, I don't know, we like to throw out numbers, or we hint at numbers.
Yeah,
like, what do you do?
It's a silent priority. It's like, you're not supposed to talk about it, but you better be successful at it. It's a central important thing that you're supposed to pretend you don't talk about. That's like in Latin America. It was funny when I was dating my late wife. She's passed. I was married for 1 year and 2 weeks with my. It was a beautiful love story. She's from Peru, and she was saying, you know, when you're in the presence of my family, you can never let them think that we're ever going to have sex. Like, even if we're married, they can't. You can't
handle it.
You cannot say anything that would lead my father to believe that you and I have sex. And I'm like, what?
We're married.
Meanwhile, it's like the culture is very sexual. Like, it's very very sexy culture. But I'm like, how can you have something as being so central to your culture that you never talk about? Like, you pretend, you know, it doesn't exist. I thought that's fascinating. I think that's the way it is with what you guys are saying with Asians and money. It's like, money is centrally important, but you don't talk about it. But you always talk about it. You never talk about it.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing.
Like anything in life, right? There's always 2 to 3 layers to everything, right? There's the superficial layer, and then there's a layer beneath that, and there's probably another layer if you dig deep enough. You know, like anything. Anyway, but
this has been great fun, gents.
I know.
I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you
for us too.
On. Yeah, this is a great conversation. Yeah, we
Reynold, why don't you help us wrap up this evening?
Okay, yeah. So usually at this time when we're wrapping up, we ask the guests for like a nugget of wisdom, like a take-home message, if you have one today.
Sure,
James, take it away.
What comes to mind is, the answer is love. What's the question? And so if you look for the loving response, the loving answer towards yourself, to the world, to your environment, love is the answer. Love conquers all. And to me, it is paramount. And in any situation, any moment that you find yourself in, if you want to make the absolute best out of it, ask yourself this question: how can I best bring love into this moment? Whether it's love for myself, love for somebody else, love is the answer. What's the question? That's what I'd like to leave.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you for leaving us with that.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure.
Vic, did you want to add anything?
No, I'm all talked out. You know,
You're
that's
all
it.
talked
Yeah.
out.
We've had our group therapy session. We're all better.
It feels very healing.
Yes,
Oh, you
I
asked
really
earlier
do.
before
I
we
really do
began.
love it.
Right, James, you were asking us why we did this, why we're doing this podcast. Yeah, that's the answer to that question. It's actually a form of therapy for myself and for Reynold. So that's the reason why we're doing it.
I love it. I love it. Well,
Thank you
you've
for
been a
coming
blessing
on.
to me. It's been fun.
Thank you, sir.
Let me end the show. Thank you, James, for joining us. Thank you, everyone else, for joining us today. Please like and subscribe, and remember, sharing is caring. All right, see you guys later.
See you.